I look back and thought, how on earth did we just do that? And it's really one of those things, so proud of what I did physically. Don't need to swim again. I will wade to my ankles, and that will be all.
They don't want us to be heroes. They don't want us to be anything.
Jellyfish! She's gonna have to swim through.
I have to say, I was so impressed by both of your skills, just swimming in the ocean. I can't even walk up to my ankles without freaking out. So I wanted to know, what did that training process look like? And then how did you feel after, you know, now that you've been able to see the film or even just to see clips of what you endured?
I could not swim to save myself before this film. I remember getting a call from the producer saying, we're so excited to offer you this role and you're Australian so you can swim, which is great. And I said, yes. And then panicked and found my brother, who was 17 at the time, and bribed him with $5 to take me to the local pool and try and teach me how to swim. I then got a lovely swim coach and learnt a lot from there. But yes, it was a very big journey. We sort of both had a similar feeling about it, I think.
I mean, from the January when I started training swimming to the July when I did, I think it was July or June, March, April, May, June, I'm sorry, I've been saying July. June, the arc of skill had grown. So getting to do the big swim, which was 9 days in the Black Sea and freezing and all the stuff, it was really after the fact I looked back and thought, how on earth did we just do that? And it's really one of those things, so proud of what I did physically. Don't need to swim again. I will wade to my ankles, and that will be all.
It is crazy as well, though, because we trained together to learn how to swim, and then we put the costumes on. And that was completely different because women were swimming, particularly in the first few scenes, it's a full woolen suit with shoes on, which is just absurd to swim in. It made it so much harder. So that was sort of another challenge.
And that was also the difficult thing for being in the sea, because we had been so warm and then the sea was unseasonably cold. There had been a storm. And because I was then wearing a bikini, there was no wetsuit, no legs, so trying to warm up in between times was,
Oh my gosh,
tricky.
Like, can we bring the wool suit back for these scenes, please? Yeah. We'll find a way. That is wild, because I can imagine it's also like swimming with a weight, like a weight on you, essentially, because you're being pulled down. And Tilda, I was so amazed to see also that you were in circus school when you were younger. Did that play any role just to the way that you approached, you know, swimming or any stunts that you had to do?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't have any swimming skills, but I think growing up in the circus, I was sort of like 8 to 19 or something. I mean, I'm retired now. I know, who runs away from the circus? That's the real one that's crazy to say. But it really taught me about like the importance of training and how many hours you have to put in to learn a skill. So I think I was very aware and ready for the physical challenge and being able to put in those hours to achieve something.
There's no going back.
Come on, girl. Kick your feet!
You both have done amazing work, not only on screen, but also behind the scenes as producers. I know you've also directed and co-written as well. And so I wanted to ask, how does that empower you as creatives and as women in a male-dominated industry like this?
Interesting. I mean, to speak to this film, I was really embraced like a partner. And I think there's a world in which that might not have happened, but I was really treated very equally and wonderfully, which was great. And I think generally what it's given me is an understanding that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And probably, in a strange way, takes the pressure off acting a bit, because you can get so wrapped up in it. And then when you think, oh wait, 100 things have to work for this to work.
It's not all about me.
Yeah, it's not all about me. So I think being able to retain joy and play in it all is great. That's not to say I don't freak out, but I think it's seeing the whole as opposed to thinking it's all about us is great.
And it's something about learning about everyone's different job in a really intimate way when making things that I think allows you to be much better at your job, about like what's needed in certain times, or gives you a bigger understanding of the creative task that it is to make a film.
And also I think it's an interesting thing of when you're an actor and you're sat in a hair and makeup chair, you understand what is going on with the hair and makeup team. and then you go to set and you understand what's going on with the props team and the art team. So that has given me greater understanding of how best to communicate, I think, as a producer, and making sure that everything is being communicated properly and people are being heard and validated, and bad behaviour is not acceptable. And so it's great being on both sides, because really seeing how a decision from over here affects someone over here.
And I got to see that by watching Daisy on this set, because she really brought me into those like script meetings, or making sure everyone was looked after on set and everyone had an equal kind of experience, which was so lovely, and also just beautiful to see that play out within those roles.
I also wanted to ask Daisy, what research, just personal research, went into preparing to portray Trudy, and just to really showcase, everything that she had to go through?
I mean, much like no one really knowing about her, there isn't that much. So I read what I could, which honestly I don't know. I mean, I read the book that this is based on, but also a lot of that is really setting the scene of the 20s. Yeah, there's not too much on her. So I felt coming into it like the swim is what she did, and this athletic feat is true, and she was a trailblazer in that way. And then I felt that I got to embellish what I got to embellish, because there wasn't enough for me to, I suppose, imitate. So I feel like I got the best of both worlds, because this film is about this thing that she did, but also we got to create the relationship that might have been between her and her. I'm sure they got on, but we got to create our own bond. We got to imagine what that bond might have been with the parents. So it was a lot of inventing that went around the true challenge that she overcame.
It sounds like an actor's dream to be able to have that, and then, like you were saying, create that bond between you two. And I know you're also stepping back into Star Wars, and I wanted to ask, how does that feel, just to be revisiting a character that you've taken a break from such a time?
I think I feel every project is a discovery, and the last time I filmed was many years ago, so I feel like it will feel like a new thing. And personally, a lot has changed in the past while for me. I feel like an adult now, might not be. So it feels like I'm revisiting something. Firstly, I hope I can remember how to do that. But it feels like such a new challenge, a new team, very exciting, but will feel like, I don't feel so much strangely like I'm stepping back into it. I feel like I'm stepping forward into something new.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. I love that. It gives even more confidence going in, right? I know the fans are super excited.
Yeah, the reaction has been amazing. Yeah.
And do you think you both had such a great bond on screen, and knowing that you have such behind-the-scenes experience as well, do you think both of you would ever collaborate on producing or co-directing or co-writing anything together?
What's really, this is a performance, because we do not like
We hate each other. It's really hard to be sitting next to her. No, I'd love to. I don't know, we've never talked about it. I'm nervous, okay? I'm nervous.
Tilda has a script that she's making. You won't send it to me.
I will. Look, now I said it on camera, I have to.
But we're also very supportive of each other anyway. And you just did a thing in Australia, and I just did a thing in Australia. And we shared a co-star.
We did.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks apart, I think.
So we're connected now.
Yeah.